Yeah, man, alright. It's the cipher too. What really bad, man? I got you from my crew. Nego, bomba plan. Bro, sintoniza mi canción, hermano de mi vida y hermana del corazón. Y digo yo, ves poniendo solución a todos los problemas que te nublan la razón. Oh shit, nigga on the ground, no problem, ole como arbón. Oh shit, welcome to my sound. Follow me right now. Yo tuve un amigo que me juró serme fiel, pero desapareció y no supe nada de él. Porque el tiempo lentamente separa los friends y por dentro cada uno juega su papel. Yo tengo la suerte contada con las manos, muchos coleguitas, poquitos hermanos. Cuento con guión para lo bueno y lo malo, justo por vivir y el sonido que te damos. Champion, brother, Chela Rebel, Mina Fire Babylon, Rasta Zona. Ven, dime quién puede comprar nuestro flow. Amigo, no me pida perdón si no es de corazón lo que me vas a decir. Un amigo suele ser bendición, son gestos de ilusión y falsa para seguir. Amigo, no me pidas perdón si no es de corazón lo que me vas a decir. Un amigo suele ser bendición.
Yo ya sé dónde buscar. Me he perdido tantas veces, escuece perderme en tu piel. Te di mucho más de lo que mereces. Jueces juzgaron mi causa, perdí por muy poco. Quedé malherido por dentro, tan roto, tan muerto, tan crudo, tan loco. Me dieron por tanto tan poco. De las rendijas por las que logré ver algo que fuese capaz de calmar mi dolor. Solo cegaba la poca luz que pasaba, reflejo de lo que llevo en mi interior. Fue que pisé el sol, te tendí una mano, pero ahora te quejas de no haber agarrado más fuerte, no. Puedo perdonar, pero no seré capaz de confiar en aquel que me traicionó.
Bro, sintoniza mi canción, hermano de mi vida y hermana del corazón. Y digo yo, ves poniendo solución a todos los problemas que te nublan la razón. Oh shit, nigga on the ground, no problem, ole como arbón. Oh shit, welcome to my sound. Follow me right now.
Yo ando por el barrio a grito de original y me paran los abuelos solo para preguntar. Yo les muestro mi respeto porque soy un buen zagal. Me dice que este flow tan duro es sobrenatural. No soy de los que roban el Eroski, tampoco de Tigrinsky. Dentro todo Kiski que ha llegado Magnetowski. Hoy me levanté muy fresco y me siento Wazowski. El asusta toys del panorama de los Mystics. Esto es otro dribbling, esto es otro dribbling. Son rimas tan sexys que parecen un striptease. Soy retro balón team, no llevo ni blim blim, pero lo di todo por los metálicos.
Antes de calor la cara con el for one. Comían los callejones y ahora en restaurantes. Solo en dólares, pesetas, euros, fucking grand. Y los demás idiomas hablo porque no pagan. No chance for the run, chico, ponte a contar. El tiempo que malgastas en lamentarte de llorar. Si estás retinal desastre, está claro que eres un rastre. Que el trabajo tú no pasaste, no te encontraste mal. Entraste mental o animal, depende para quién. Yo soy un ser espiritual que volar para les más bien. Que van en búsquedas que susurren, sucede. Es que caminar con dar con mujeres son un de sin nubes ven. Como algún ser no vaya a ser que están sub-cero haciendo hielo en el cielo de Manchester. No menta usted, el si no los que están diciendo que se lo rusé, aunque en verdad no le guste, joder usted.
Hey, oh, it's kind of loud, man. Let me turn that down. Give me a second, guys. I don't know why that's so loud. It's loud on my end. Anyways, all right. Hey, fam, listen. My appointment got pushed back, so I wanted to throw this video in real quick. It's not going to be long because I do have to get to it. So let me start off right now, real quick, and just get going. Okay. Let's go to first of all, the one important scripture that I think all of us should definitely know if we don't know it by now. Okay. Let's see. It reads, all right. So it reads like this. Let me move my mic over here. Okay, so it reads, this is the book of John, chapter 8, verse 32. And it says, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Again, let me repeat that. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. All right. Now, there is something I found, and I wanted to throw this video in because of the I guess the emergency that I feel behind it. I don't want the thought to pass us by because of the class that I had done in the morning. Okay, so now if you guys recall, let me do this before I do anything else. Copyright disclaimer. This is
Copyright
for you.
disclaimer.
This is for you, Yahoo. YouTube.
This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles does not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of the United States copyright law states material and use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright law.
So if you guys remember, earlier this morning, we went through a class and I was kind of going over some regarding, what do you call it? Man, I can't believe I forgot the name. Abraham, okay? So anyhow, hey, shalom, sis. Bendiciones a tu familia también. So anyhow, there was a class regarding Abraham, all right? And I had showed a video yesterday about how we had to remind these other nations of who they are according to the Bible and who we are. Now, the video that I put up, something stuck to me, and it was awkward, man, because amen, something stuck to me. It was awkward because it literally like it didn't leave my mind. I go, I've seen that face, I've seen that video, I remember somebody recommending me to it, and then I found it, and it has to do with Abraham, okay, and what these guys are actually doing. So check this out. Remember this video from yesterday, okay? This video from yesterday, this is what they said. So now I'm going to show you a particular gentleman that's in there that they referenced. Okay, so now now again, I'm only using the material that they use. I'm not doing anything other than me using what they basically, have used. So I'm using their material. Okay, so let's remember what happened here.
There are Hebrew Israelites in Africa. And I'm not just talking about the brothers that come from America that go over there. I'm talking about Africans who are Hebrew Israelites. So you hear the Hebrews always saying that the Africans are not their people. They are so and so. Well, check this out, family. Check it out.
All right, so we've seen this already, okay? We've seen this. So let's fast forward real quick.
And you still a stinking African. West Africa? Which country? Ghana. Ghana. Okay, you from Ghana. Now listen, what we teaching today is the Israelites are the so-called blacks, the so-called Hispanics who went into the slave trade. All right? So your people, obviously, you didn't go into the slave trade. Y'all stayed back.
What? Okay, sounds good. So remember this video. I don't have to go through it again. They're like saying all this.
The Arab involvement in the African slave trade has lasted 14 centuries. And in some parts of the Mohammedan world, is still continuing.
So as you can see, they put a lot of effort in these videos and showing how black slaves for sale, and yet these guys are wearing fringes and they're selling them, and they're black looking, well, dark skin, because apparently here in America, the word black means Afro, woolly haired phenotype. Okay, so not clear in the rest of the world. It just means negro, meaning your color, your skin tone. Okay. So now they're saying this and that in all this video, and you look through it and you're like, oh God, yes, you're so right. Oh my God, you're so right. And we got some silly doves in these camps that actually believe this heathenish, concept. And then on top of that, that there's actual people that maybe are people that actually believe this. So this is the gentleman that stood out. I'm like, wait a minute. He's the only non-black man in this video. So, Opie, I'm about to show you something. Hold on to your horses, unless you don't know what that is. But let's find out what exactly is it that we're finding out here, okay? So let's go to, what's the time I'm looking for? No, actually, you know what? Right around here.
The black Yahudians, Judah.
Watch this, all right?
Did you know that Sudan is an ancient name for the Yahudians, the black Yahudians, Judah, tribe of Judah? And did you know that the tribe of Judah exists in Ethiopia? Of course they do.
All right, so I'm like, okay, this guy looks familiar. I remember him. Well, guess what I do? All right, so now we're gonna forward again. Where they use him again. They use him again. But how ironic that they don't use him recently? Because apparently I found something recently, And now his change of heart? I wonder why.
If your people have lived in certain parts of Africa, like, for instance, Ghana, Ethiopia, Nigeria, then it is 99.9% likeliness that you're a Hebrew. You're a chosen person of the Most High God.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Let them know, Ak. Let them know. Hey, guys, you know, we should just shut this channel down right now. Like, literally. Because we should just go by this. No, let's not. That was a joke. Let's see. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave this up because we're going to use this. Let's go to Matthew chapter 25, verse 31. Okay. Let's go to some scripture. Matthew chapter 25 and verse 31. This is for you, so-called Northern Kingdom that are allowing yourselves to be called Northern Kingdom. Okay. This is for you guys. It says, verse 31, when the Son of Man shall come in his glory and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. There's a list of things that he's going to do. It says, and before him shall he be gathered all nations, like Jehoshaphat in Isaiah 66, I believe, or 61. And he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divided his sheep from the goats. Yes, he's going to separate the nations. So you so-called Hispanics that are in cahoots with these so-called people that are of the Bible, right? Hey, shalom, Eastside. Shalom, sir. Shalom, Elishiva. I think I said it right this time. It just came out a little easier. All right, let me take it off real quick. So let me read it again. It says, and when the Son of Man shall come in his glory and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divided the sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on the right hand and the goats on the left. Okay? So now, you guys that are involved and all in the betweens with the so-called Africans, the so-called Phoenicians that are calling themselves Hebrews, okay? There's going to be a time where you're going to have to, well, you're going to find out either if it's too late or hopefully soon enough, okay? Because this is not coincidental. All of this that's happening is basically scriptural. Watch this, Matthew 13:24. Then it says, don't forget about the video, guys. I'm getting to somewhere here, okay? Matthew 13:24, it says, another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man which sowed good seed in his field, right? So the Most High, in the beginning, had given us these fruits, had given us these tokens, had given us the understanding, the wisdom, right? So it's our job now to find ourselves in order to who? To find out who we are according to the Bible, right? So you dig into yourself in order if you want to know God. Remember that. Now it says here, but while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat, and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then hath its tares? He said unto them, an enemy had done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then go and gather them up? But he said, Nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. So I pray, you brothers and sisters that are all in there, and I pray that the Most High has actually led you to that walk, okay? Because it's not going to be easy when you find out that you're among the tares. And it says, let both grow until harvest. And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reaper, gather ye together the first tare, bind them in a bundle to burn them, but gather the wheat unto the barn. That's the sheep and the goat. That's the separation of nations. That's the separation of the righteous and not righteous. So you got to start doing this walk. So if you're already in the seal, meaning if you are really sold in the concept that the white and the black Jesus are going to save you, and that's what it's about, man, you're in for a rude awakening. So I tell you, I compel you, brothers and sisters that are listening, listen to this parable here, okay? Maybe you're one of them. Lord willing, you're the fourth seed. It says, Matthew 13:18, hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and understand it not, then cometh the wicked one and catcheth away that which was sown in the heart, meaning the mind. This is he which received the seed by the wayside. So like, for example, my mother, she's a hardcore Catholic. And I've been trying to help. And you know what? There's a moment where I'm like, okay, she's gonna believe, and next, boom. Next time I talk to her, she's like way back in her thing again. That's unfortunate. Lord willing, the Most High gives her mercy. Verse 21. Yet had he not root himself, but dureth for a while. Let me read it. Let me read verse 20. Sorry, I skipped it. But he said, but he that receiveth the seed into stony places, the same he that heareth the word and Anan with joy and receive it. So these guys are the ones and girls are like, I'm a Hebrew. I'm gonna go out there and flyer missions and yeah, studying it. Yeah, Esau. Okay. He also, it says, yet he had no root in himself, but endureth for a while. And when tribulation or persecution ariseth because of the word, by and by he is offended. And remember the scripture, the classes I've done, brothers and sisters, regarding how we're supposed to break that clod, break that ground to get rid of those clods in order to seed properly and the root to set. Well, you got to get those. That's why it says, like you didn't endure, you weren't patient, you were like starting to rush, and next thing you know, bam, you're done. You didn't root yourself, you didn't break the ground, you didn't examine yourself. That's what the walk is about. Then it says, he also that receiveth seed among the thorns is he that heareth the word, and the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches chokes the word and becomes unfruitful. So there's like, I gotta not work this day, man. It's overtime. Bro, really? I can't play sports. I can't tell my kids. You know what? Nah, I'm good, bro, because I don't want to be broke. I like my wealth. I don't really have it that bad. And I kind of want to sin. So even if you slightly sin, you broke all the commandments, quite frankly. So you want to be this other one. But he that received the seed unto the good ground is he that heareth the word, right? You take the word and understand it, meaning you break the ground. You break the ground. You get rid of the clods. You break through all of that ugly, nasty, fallow, dry brain of yours and spirit of yours. And you apply the scriptures to understand yourself, which also beareth fruit. So what is the fruit? The goodness, the tokens that you develop, the wisdom that then comes about from you breaking ground and you rooting yourself properly. Because that fruit is also you yourself, and then that fruit is also who you teach, your family, your friends, your husband, your wife. All of those are fruits. Bring it forth. Some are 100-fold, some are 60, some are 30. Meaning, because listen, when the fruit falls, you may not be able to wake everybody up, but when the fruit falls, that seed plants itself. So when you develop a family, guess what? They're going to teach other people. This is why it says you're a tree that beareth the fruit. From a tree comes a lot of other trees, guys. You got to be thankful. You got to be thoughtful of these things. So now let me go back. Let me go back to agreed. Let me go back to the point here real quick, because now we're going to see what I'm talking about. So again, all of this is going on. People have been in our, let's say, quote unquote nation. Okay. And there are some people that have planted tares, and we're seeing them now. We're seeing them now as they're coming up, right? It makes perfect sense. So we need to just sit back and be the good seed. Break that ground. Get rid of the bitterness. Yes, they've done what they've done. You just watch. Be at peace with all men, because you need to work on yourself. Let them. Verse 9, he who hath an ear, let him hear. That's what it is. You got to be that 100-fold, that developer of 60 to 30-fold. Matter of fact, that developer of 1-fold, one child that you get to change his life or her life, to keep the laws of God and sincerely love it. I'm going to tell y'all straight up. I know that maybe in this world they don't believe it, but I can't wrap my mind around the kingdom. But you know what? I wish I could not sin no more. I don't want to sin anymore, because it's distasteful to me now. The laws have magnified sin to me. Now it's bitter wisdom. Like, oh God, no, I don't even want to think of that. That's what I want. So he who has an ear, let him hear. Break through that ground. Be that good seed. Because you don't want to be this seeds where they go by falsifying information, not really doing scholarly work. And then next you know, you find out that the same guy that they use is the same guy that's actually telling them, you guys are liars.
You're listening to Rabbi Simon Altaf from Vienna in Austria. Today we're going to discuss...
you know what? And he says a lot of the stuff I say, so it's even more amazing, man. I kid you not. I kid you not. Watch this, all right? I'm gonna sit back. I'll forward some things. We're going to sit back and watch this for a little bit, okay? That's kind of like why I'm trying to make a short video. After this, and I'm pretty much done, I just want to make sure we touch on this because of the class I did in the morning, and it has to do with Abraham and that region. Watch. So why is he saying this now? Let's explore why he's now saying what he's saying, and I believe I know why, and I'll share it. All right, let's go.
Shalom. You're listening to Rabbi Simon.
Wait, hold up. Just to make sure, I don't know this gentleman. So let me hold up. Just in case.
Copyright disclaimer.
Say it twice.
This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles does not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of the United States copyright law states material and use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright law.
Okay, perfect. All right, so now let me pull up the video real quick. It was on YouTube, right? Yep, that's right. Okay, here we go. Just pay attention. Let's listen in, okay? Let's see what this guy has to say. And all of a sudden now he's kind of like changing the tune. I'm trying to find out why. Let's go.
Simon Altaf from Vienna in Austria. Today we're going to discuss a couple of things. Number one, ancient Israelites. Who were they? Or more importantly, who were Abraham's ancestors? And we'll also discuss who is a Jew by Torah standards, not by perception, but by what the scripture writes about the real people of Israel.
Let me just reference the guy's face. I don't want people to say, no, that's not him, whatever, this and that. Okay.
House of Consciousness Production. I have a special message. There are Hebrew
For Judah,
They look alike? I want to see if anybody can agree that they look alike.
and did you know that the tribe of Judah exists in
All right.
and then the forefathers, the ancestors of those
The same? I think they're the same. Okay, let's continue.
people, such as Abraham, and going further back to Noah. So a lot of people ask me this question. They say, you say you're a Kohen, but you don't look like me. And this question usually comes from Black Americans who are a little bit confused about their history, especially about Israelite history. And I think it's important for me to at least give you some guidance as to why I don't look like you, or why I don't have locked hair as most of you have. Because I think the more important question should be, when we look at this, we're going to get the answers that you're seeking. So let's go back to Abraham and Abraham's ancestors.
Hey, you know what? Real quick, just to make sure you said, yeah, man. I was watching some of his other videos, and I was like, why is he saying this now? And they're using that reference, so it's like there's a transition kind of going on in regards to what he was teaching at that time and what he's actually saying. This guy also says that the day starts in the daytime, then the nighttime, and then he believes that the white man's Japheth and all that. So again, I don't agree with all of it. I'm only using him because they reference him. They're like, they reference him. Okay, cool. Sounds good. But look what he's saying now. That's the weird part here. Here's interesting.
Most people
I hope you're listening, Fopi. This is your king.
believe that Abraham lived in Iraq, and that's where he was brought up. That's where his family was. So traditionally, most Christian scholars, Jewish scholars, probably say that he came out of Iraq. And that's what I say, perception. That perception is entirely wrong, because Abraham did not come out of Iraq, neither did his family. Since most of you probably never left your state, probably never left your country, so you wouldn't know any better, what real history is about. So first of all, if you had ever gone to Turkey, you'll find out that the cave where Abraham hid from one of the earliest rulers, as you know, Nimrod, when he was hiding in a cave in Turkey. How can he hide in a cave in Turkey if Abraham is from Iraq? Which means he was a baby at that time. which means that the story, the perception that you have been given about Abraham's family is entirely incorrect. Abraham's family were domiciled in Turkey. So if they were domiciled in Turkey, surely he couldn't be from Iraq, could he?
Now let's look up Turkey. Okay. And then at the end, I'm going to also show you, man, I don't even know if I should, honestly, but I kind of want to, bro, because honestly, I want to, because everybody believes in DNA, man, and it's like, okay, sounds good. So Turkey's right here, all right? So he's talking about domiciled, like somewhere up there. Remember when they left the Chaldees, they were up there in Haran and all that area, okay? That's what he's talking about. All right, let's continue.
So you have to now correct yourselves as to what is going on. So did he originate from Turkey? Did his ancestors originate from Turkey? Well, again, unless you really know ancient history, you're gonna be guessing, second guessing. It's almost like saying that I live in Vienna, I'm from Austria, but I don't look nothing like the people over here.
Hey, that's why I always say you need historical facts with the Bible. You need it. You need to know history in order to match the Bible. I have a somewhat of an understanding on history. I'm not no expert. I don't know why people say they're experts at anything. Nobody's an expert at anything, okay? Only the Most High. Anyhow, so like I've actually, you know what? Let's just continue with the video, man. I don't want to keep pausing. Let's go.
You know, their skin color, their skin tone, their dress code, nothing like mine. So could I say that I'm from Vienna, Austria? No, of course I couldn't. If I was living here for 5 years, 10 years, I couldn't say that I'm from Vienna, Austria. Same way, Abraham's family couldn't say they are from Turkey or from Iraq. Both conclusions that most people are making would be incorrect. So where did Abraham's family come from? Well, if we look back at India's ancient history, his family actually originated out of India. That means the important question is not, should I look like you, the Negroes in America? The important question is, should you look like me?
You guys catch that? Did you guys catch that? So something happened. Something happened. He's like, wait. Then he should look more like me, not like you Negroes. And I'm like, whoa. Let's see. Let me see what he's saying says. Let me read that real quick. Oh, hold on a second. Let me block this person. Okay. I think geographically names are changed, hidden, and for some purpose. Psalms. Yeah, they found lots of turkeys on the lands. Proceed to the turkey for that Thanksgiving in November, native month. Wow. Yeah. No joke, man. No joke. Watch this. So let's go back again. Remember, they're using this. This is their king. They were like, hey, yo, look, yeah, man, look, man, this guy said.
Ethiopia, of course they do. And did you know that the tribe of Judah exists in Ethiopia? Of course they do.
All right, this guy. Let's go to 12. Go right here.
If your people have lived in certain parts of Africa, like, for instance, Ghana, Ethiopia, Nigeria, then it is 99.9% likeliness that you're a Hebrew. You're a chosen person of the Most High God.
And you can see what he's saying. So now let's go back to this. So I'm like, what happened?
So where did Abraham's family come from? From Iraq. Abraham's family couldn't say they are from Turkey or from Iraq. Both conclusions that most people are making would be incorrect. So where did Abraham's family come from? Well, if we look back at India's ancient history, his family actually originated out of India. That means the important question is not, should I look like you, the Negroes in America? The important question is, should you look like me? Because Abraham looked like me. If Abraham looked like me, then I look like Abraham. Therefore, I have a more right to Abraham than any of you in America. Why? Because you probably don't even know the plantations, beyond the plantations where you came from.
Are y'all listening to this? Are you guys listening to this? This is their king. They put him up on this video. I'm like, man, oh, this is so. Oh man, ignorance is bliss. Honestly, that's just. You see, there's a difference between a true Hebrew and a fake Hebrew, right? A true Hebrew will dig and be diligent about what he's studying. I'm just saying, and you guys are the same way.
Most of you know where your grandfather worked or great-great-great-grandfather worked as a slave. Well, I can tell you that my great-great-great-great-grandfather came out of Iran, Persia, and we served the great kings of Persia at that time where we were domiciled when we were expelled from Israel, because everybody knows it. It's written in the Bible, it's written in history, so all over the place that where Israel was domiciled, the 10 tribes, they went to north, then to the east, and the 2 tribes.
Hey, and that's very true. They went north because of the Assyrian captivity, like in Turkey, that area. Like that's why I'm gonna have to show it, man. That's why when I show my so-called DNA, it like literally shows that my forefathers domiciled in that area. I'm laughing because I just find it so funny that we don't even worry about those things. We're just focusing on the scriptures and trying to be like just sane, legitimately decent human beings, right? And the Bible is the only one that's going to allow us to get there. And that's what I always see about our gente, man. That's what we want. That's all that we want. We just like, I don't want to sin no more, man. Just give us a good, decent life. I can raise my children right. That's all. I talk to a lot of our gente, and we all say the same thing.
Tribes of Israel, Judah and Benjamin, with of course Levites, they also went to Babylonia, then to Persia. And Persian Empire in the ancient times, to revise your history, wasn't Africa, by the way. Persian Empire, the Assyrian Empire, in ancient times, they covered parts of ancient India. So ancient India, what is ancient India today? Pakistan, Bangladesh, and India. 3 nations came out of ancient India in 1947 in the partition that occurred through the British rule and the Raj in India. So, taking you back into history, who were Abraham's ancestors? They were people who called themselves Yadavas. The Yadavas were Indian people, and Josephus Flavius, who is an important historian from our people in Israel, and he writes that he believed, and he quotes historians, that the ancient people of Israel belonged to Indian philosophers.
And let me show you guys something real quick. I showed you guys this the other day, but look what it says. This is from Hindus America, right? It says Hindus reach America first. This is what the official historian of the Mexican government says in general outline of the history of Mexico. What is called the discovery of America is the meeting of 2 great current of races of people who, after separation extending over many centuries, were again joined after going right around the earth. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, I'm just doing a connection in regards to our relationship to Abraham. That's all.
Well, if we belong to Indian philosophers, then that takes me back to the Yadava people who actually left India at one point in time. That would mean Abraham's fathers. They left India, and then the question is asked, why did they leave India? And the answer is given because Indians at that time worshipped many gods, idols.
And isn't that true? Didn't we read the scripture? Matter of fact, let me show you. Why did that happen? So he doesn't even touch on that, right? But I do know. So let's go to it. 2nd Ezra, chapter 3. Watch this. So after Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, right? Here's what happens with all of them. It says here, let's see. I'll go to verse, verse 11. It says, nevertheless, one of them thou left it, namely Noah, with his household, of whom came all the righteous men. Noah, Shem, and Ham, meaning they were keeping the laws of God. And it happened that when they dwelt upon the earth, began to multiply and had gotten many children, you mean Japheth or Japhet, Shem, and Ham, and were great people, they began again to be more ungodly than the first. Now, when they lived so wickedly before thee, thou didst choose thee a man among them whose name was Abraham. And what does this guy say?
Abraham's fathers. They left India, and then the question is asked, why did they leave India? And the answer is given because Indians at that time worshipped many gods, idols, just as Abraham's father worshipped many gods. If you remember, you read about it in the book of Joshua. You will also read about.
And there's a book that I have. I may show y'all, okay? There's a lot of words in Mexico of like certain cities and in Peru that are literally words in Sanskrit. I'm gonna look for the book while I'm looking for this, okay? Let me look for it.
About this in the Tanakh, in the Hebrew Bible, what you call the Old Testament, in the book of Joshua, chapters 24, it tells you there that your forefathers came from the other side of the river. What river? What other side? The river Euphrates. The other side of Euphrates, it begins the Persian Empire, and it is a vast area covering today's modern Pakistan, Afghanistan, India, Bangladesh, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, all those areas. So what should the ancient forefathers look like? They should look like me, not you. That's a problem. You see, that's a problem that you have to deal with. When Noah came out of the ark with his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, well, what do you think? Do you think that there were plenty of women of other nations sitting there for them to marry their children into? Of course not. So the only women that our children could marry into, so Shem's sons, they married into Ham's children. In other words, Ham's daughters. So if we take Ham's daughters, Shem, meaning Indian-looking man like me, brownie, if he marries into Ham's sons who are jet black and they look like you in North America, what do you think we're going to produce? We're going to produce children with different skin tones of brown, with some with locked hair, some without locked hair. That's where you come from. That's why we have some people of Israel, ancient Israel, who perhaps look black. And we have other people who have lighter skin tones. There is no such thing as black across the board. That would be a falsehood to teach that there's just black across the board. That is not true, because
yeah, you hear that? You see that? To teach that it's black about. So that's what I'm assuming. That's okay. Perfect. So that's when I really like. That's what happened. That is exactly what happened. So he was teaching them, hey, you guys, according to the curses, you guys fit the scripts. You guys fit the curses. You guys are Israel. He was going with a sincere spirit. Oh, all praises, sis. Oh, okay. Oh, what? Now I connected dots. All praises. I see, yeah, you and your husband, your picture. All praises. Anyhow, so this is where I started noticing that he's like, okay, why is he referencing that? Why is he saying that? So now I know why. Because then they took it. Yes, you black convert Hebrews, you took this knowledge and then you said, F everybody. Only black folks are actual Hebrews. Look what he's saying. He's like, no. I take it. I think he's regretting what he did. He's realized I woke up an animal, basically. And I don't mean it like in an insulting way. I mean like a mentality. The insane mind to go and take this information and say, only us. Only us. Really?
In other words, Ham's daughters. So if we take Ham's daughters, Shem, meaning Indian-looking man like me, brownie, if he marries into Ham's sons who are jet black and they look like you in North America, what do you think we're going to produce? We're going to produce children with different skin tones of brown, with some with locked hair, some without locked hair. That's where you come from. That's why we have some people of Israel, ancient Israel, who perhaps look black. And we have other people who have lighter skin tones. There is no such thing as black across the board.
So now let me show you something, okay? So you brothers and sisters, man, you need to start really being proud of your heritage, brothers. I'm serious. Look, watch this. This is from a book called, I believe it's called, let's see. It's called from Kabiri Pass to Grand Quivira, New Mexico in Boca. It's called When India Ruled the World by Gene Matlock. When India Ruled the World. Oh, shoot. Watch what it says. It says, however, I'm going to read up top. It says, how much more proof is needed to convince the skeptics? Just in case more is needed, my skeptical readers should know that one of the principal Indian strongholds of the Ayappa cult is in southern India, near the Pampa River. Therefore, we need not be surprised to find Pampas River in Peru and Chile. In chapter 4, I mentioned several Indian places and caste names in Inca Peru. However, it's more convincing examples are needed. I present Pujas, Manu, Pisac, Bonu, and Ayacucho region. In Sanskrit, Puja, honor, worship, Manu, patriarch. Manu, let me read it again. Puja means honor or worship. Manu means patriarch. Pisac, a savage tribe of people in North India. Pune, a famous Indian city. Ayacucho, fortunate, lucky leadership caste. Or the Raramuri of Chihuahua. Then you got the Ram Uri of Shivava. Man, I'm telling you, it gets deeper and deeper.
Would be a falsehood to teach that there's just black across the board. That is not true. Because if I bring you to Abraham, our forefather, and if I tell you about his wives, he had a black wife from Egypt. Well, what kind of son she's going to give him? Ishmael is going to be a son of darker skin tone. Now, what about his other wives? Well, Sarah, clearly, there are two opinions on Sarah. And you can take whichever opinion you like. You can take the opinion that Sarah's from Chad, or you can take the opinion that Sarah's from India. I would probably go with the opinion that Sarah's family also originated out of India. Therefore, they both look like each other, and they're going to produce children that are going to look like Indians. Therefore, Yitzhak, Isaac, is going to look like me. He's not going to look like you, unfortunately. There's no such thing. Now, therefore, that means we're going to have two sons, Esau, which you call Esau, and you call Jacob. Those two sons. Well, everything is determined by...
Hey, look what it says on the bottom. It says, the Persian generally called Ibrahim Zarathustra. Cyrus considered the religion of the Jews the same as his own. The Hindus must have come from Abraham, or the Israelites from Brahma. So that's why do you think the Most High chose Cyrus to free the Israelites? Because he was a descendant of Abraham. That's right. Let him know, Ak. Let him know. I don't understand why this other nation of people cannot wrap their mind around that. Oh, I know why. Because you have to have woolly hair. That's all it's based off. Colorism, man. Come on, bro.
By who they marry. Now, I didn't go back and explain that Abraham also had a white wife, a Caucasian wife, whose name was Mashech, who was from Turkey. Well, guess what, guys? If Abraham's family were domiciled in Turkey, what are the chances do you think that Abraham have a Turkic wife? What do you think are the chances? And what do today's Turkic people look like? Most of them look like Caucasian, white people. They pass for an Englishman anytime, more than me. So therefore, the question is, if he married into a Turkic woman, which he did, and that's whose son we know was Eliezer, his older son. So if he had a white woman, what do you reckon? Do you reckon she's going to have some white children? Potentially? Yes, she is. That means that Abraham will have white in the mix as well. Do you think they followed the God of Israel? Most likely, 100%. Definitely followed the God of Israel. So where does that leave us? So let's go forward a little bit, then we'll come back. We'll go forward, we'll come back, we'll try to get some understanding. So if we go forward, we come back to Isaac.
Hey, family, I'm going to use the restroom real quick, man. I'm just going to let it play. And honestly, I'm going to watch the whole video. Y'all can stick around if you want. I'm going to watch the whole video because I'm very interested in what this guy's saying, okay? I haven't watched the whole video. I just went to like maybe 12, 13 minutes. And I was just like, oh, that's enough. Let me go ahead and do the video. I got time right now, okay? So I got a little bit of time. I don't have to be to my appointment until like 4:35. All right, let's keep going.
So what does Isaac's wife, Rebecca, what does she tell her son, Jacob? You are not to marry the woman of Canaan. Who were the women of Canaan? These daughters of Ham, black women who were corrupted, who were worshipping false idols, who were sacrificing their children to false idols. So the mom, Rebecca, told her son, you are not to marry into these heathens that are worshipping false idols. Therefore, you must go back to the family. Exactly the same pattern that Abraham had taken an oath from his son Eliezer, who is referred to as his servant. He took an oath, you are not to marry my son Isaac into these heathen women in this land where I am. In other words, Canaan, daughters of Ham, who were completely corrupted by that time. Previously, in the time of Noah, that time they were all obeying Torah. But by now, several hundred years later, they no longer were in Torah. They were into all sorts of false worship. Therefore, the indictment was given against them. Do not marry into these black women because they are corrupted. They are into false worship. They do not worship the God of Israel. You must not take those women. And the injunction came from God as well later on. So therefore, what happens? What happens is that Jacob is sent back to his Indian family, Indian-looking family. Where? In Iraq, where they are settled in Padan Aram. Let's break those two words down. Padan Aram.
See, and that's why when I got interested in this is pretty much what I was almost finishing, because at that point I'm like, wait a minute, it confirms what I had found regarding the actual scriptures. Padam Aram means region, land, and then Aramaic. So I had looked into it, and this guy is literally confirming what I'm saying. But what really stood out the most is like they were using him to say, oh, look. And now he's like, hold on a second, Mr. Blackie. Abraham didn't look like you. Abraham looked like me, more like me. So who has more rights to him? And guess what? Who looks more like this guy? That's all I'm saying.
Aram. Aram is the area where we get the language Aramaic, meaning Babylonia, Persia, which spoke to a large extent. They spoke the Aramaic language, square script, what they call square script Hebrew today. So if they spoke Aramaic, that brings another interesting thing, doesn't it? That means, surely, if they spoke Aramaic, well, do you speak Aramaic in North America? I haven't heard anybody speaking Aramaic in North America. But you can see plenty of people, even today, there are people in India who know Aramaic. If you go to Pakistan, you will have people speaking the Persian tongue. My own uncle, who passed away a few years ago, he spoke fluently the Persian tongue. Therefore, that means that North America, the black folks there who want to be Hebrews, they don't have the Persian tongue. So who has more?
Damn, you guys hear that? Well, let me go back. Oh man, this is, oh God, this is so great. Anyhow, let me go.
Well, that means that North America, the black folks there who want to be Hebrews, they don't have the Persian tongue. So who has more connection to Abraham's family, you or me? Who do you think is going to be a Levite priest, you or me? So therefore, we have a genealogy. We have the language. Pakistan speaks today widely a language called Urdu, which has its roots in ancient Persian tongue. That is where the Jews came from after their exile. And today, let me tell you something of interest. Today, in 2017, I have contact with a Jewish man in Pakistan who looks 100% like me. What do you think he should look like? And he came out of Iraq. His whole family came out of Iraq. 2,000 years ago, they left Iraq at the destruction of our temple, and they went to Pakistan and they domiciled in Pakistan. So for all practical purposes today, they look like Pakistanis, of course. They're not going to look like English. They're not going to look like Americans. They're not going to look Negro either. So therefore, I think that the important question is are all the Negroes Hebrews? The answer is no, they are not. So therefore, you need to remove this ignorance card, and everybody calling themselves Israelite, shouting in the streets of New York.
Hey, here we go. You see, now I understood okay. See, now it's because of the way they took it. It's where they went and how they really ran with it. There was no humility whatsoever. If you were potentially the chosen seed and you go off and just completely twist the scriptures, man, this is why he's saying that. Watch.
So therefore, I think that the important question is are all the Negroes Hebrews? The answer is no, they are not. So therefore, you need to remove this ignorance card, and everybody calling themselves Israelite, shouting in the streets of New York, oh, I'm Israel. No, you're not Israel. You are just a misguided person. Because if you were really Israel, you would be obeying the Torah. You would be doing the things that my forefathers did, both in Babylonia, such as Daniel the prophet.
Hey, listen, guys, he's right about this. If you are a true Hebrew, you're going to be applying the laws, statutes, and commandments with the understanding of the Messiah, knowing that the examination is what's required of us because we're supposed to be that ultimate last. I don't want to lose y'all because potentially we are that. The Messiah came and showed us what he is. We're supposed to do exactly the same thing that he's going to do. So we have mercy to cleanse ourselves from the flesh. Once you're completely separate from that and you got like complete control of your spirit, man, the sky's the limit at that point. And again, this is going to be a process in time. It's the elect that are being called upon right now. 144 and then the 1/3. All right, let's go.
Prophet, who was my forefather, by the way, such as the Persian domiciled Hebrews. What did they do? Well, they obeyed the 7 festivals. They didn't believe in Jesus. They don't know who Jesus was. This is a later thing. Rabbi Yeshua came much later. So they obeyed the Torah laws. You can read about it. Daniel the prophet, what does he do? The king offers him delicacies, foods, everything. What does Daniel the prophet say? No, thank you. I don't want to have your food because I'm a Hebrew. I eat kosher. I want to only have lentils. Well, most of you in North America are sucking on pig, and you think you're Hebrews.
Damn, hold up a second. That's right. Let them know, Ak. Let them know. Oh my God, man. I literally. And hold on. Let me play a song real quick. I recorded this because this is what you call so-called Hispanics that are in these camps. Okay, you're going to a stranger for advice.
Lo sé, Señor, quizás hable sin sentido, pero al malvado hay que darle su merecido. Mira al diablo en que me ha convertido, pidiéndole consejos a un desconocido.
Literally, they're foreigners, and we're asking for them to tell us who we are according to the Bible. Come on, guys, let's go, man.
It's laugh, isn't it? It's laughable. Thank you. I don't want to have your food because I'm a Hebrew. I eat kosher. I want to only have lentils. Well, most of you in North America are sucking on pig, and you think you're Hebrews. It's laugh, isn't it? It's laughable. In order to be a Hebrew, in order to do the Torah, you have to remove yourself from the very foods that you call your foods and the very way of lives living. You have to remove yourself from that kind of lifestyle to a Torah lifestyle. A Torah lifestyle is, number one, obeying the God of Israel, keeping the Sabbath, guarding the Sabbath. Number two, you have to eat the foods that are qualified kosher. That means you can't have pig. Number three, you cannot be celebrating festivals of the Goyim, the Gentiles. You have to celebrate festivals of Israel, Passover, Pentecost, tabernacles, all those kind of good things. So whilst most of you,
and you're supposed to do it with sincerity, with like real joy, man. Like once I started learning how to keep the laws slowly and better, I'm getting better. There's so much joy, like so much joy, and it's like, man, this feels good. Like literally, your spirit starts to waking to the real holidays, and it's just amazing because then your family enjoys it as well, and that's the blessing. Those are the fruits. But see, I dug through that damn hard, dry ground, man, and I had a lot of clods in my head. Trust me. I think we all do, but we can do it, man. And then, anyways, the scriptures. Without the scriptures, we can't.
are still stuck in churches, still running Pentecost, tabernacles, all those kind of good things. So whilst most of you are still stuck in churches, still running after Jesus Christ and doing after other things, maybe some of you are into Islam and Muslim and all that nonsense. So therefore, question is this: how can you be Hebrews if your character does not resemble anything from the Torah? That means if you really had the blood of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, then surely you would say that the Torah is your life. Torah is your faith. Torah is your way of living. But if you don't, if you're running to a church every Sunday, then I'd have to question, are you really a Hebrew? Probably not. So, I wouldn't even bank on it. However, if you were connected to Israel ancient, as I explained, that when Noah's sons came out of the ark, Shem, who was a brown man like me, his daughters married into Ham's daughter, his sons, married Ham's daughters, which was permitted at that time. And so therefore we're going to produce a mixture. And if Abraham's going to have a Caucasian wife, Abraham's going to have Sarah, a wife that looks like brown color, then she's going to produce brown children. That means Isaac was like me. And then if Isaac subsequently produces two sons, they're going to look like me as well, right? So you look at the Middle Eastern Jews, what do they look like? Do they look like me, or do they look like, somebody else in China maybe? No, of course not. So we have to understand that we must take scripture and history with it and get an understanding. When we do that, we'll never go wrong. But if we dissect, if we just remove ourselves from scripture and just pretend to be somebody we are not, we'll never get anywhere. However, I'm not saying that you cannot become part of Israel. You can. Every one of you can become part of Israel.
See, so now that he's going off to some other stuff, right? But my whole point was basically the video. So I kind of don't want to see if I don't want to convince, but let me see. Maybe he'll actually don't say some crazy stuff. Hold on.
Covenanted people of God, you have to take the oath. You word today.
Here it goes, right here.
From
Look,
the humans inhabited in Israel, an area to come out of that. So let's go back to Abraham. Let's go back to these people called Yadawas. Let's go back to the land that we once inhabited in Israel, an area known as Judea. Judea, from the Hebrew word Judea, and from the Hebrew word where we get Judah as well. And we get the Indian Sanskrit word Yud, which actually means a warrior of God. So therefore, the people who are known to have come out of India, settled in Turkey, and then Abraham gave away, he left that worship of his forefathers, which was idolatrous, worshipping statues. So Abraham left eastern Turkey, southeastern Turkey, to be in the exact space. He then traveled down into Iraq. From Iraq, he traveled down into Israel, into what we know as Hebron. If you go to Hebron, Shechem, then if you go to Hebron, you will see that his grave is there today for everybody to see. It's 100% guaranteed that he was buried there, no doubt about it. Therefore, if Abraham traveled down there, let's look at Abraham's name. His name before God changed it was Abram. Abram's name came from the Indian deity, Indian god Brahma. So Abraham's forefathers were Brahmins. Brahmins are priests in India. So these priests, and if you go look, they still exist today. So
they're the Magi. That's the Magis that went to see the Messiah. You see how it's all connecting now?
We know our history. Because we know our history, we know what we should look like. However, this is not to say that you can't be Israel if you are and you produce a Chinese looking child, then of course that's an Israelite as well. Just as I explained to you, if we marry into Ham, a black woman, Ham's daughters, what are we going to produce? Dark colored children with with locks and all the looks that you have in North America. So therefore there is consensus that a certain portion of Hebrews were taken in the slave trade. Not all of them, but a certain portion. That portion is what is in North America, potentially in Europe as well. So we know that an island in the coast of Africa called Sao Tome, from there a British ship that was carrying the Portuguese flag exported slaves, took slaves out from that island and shipped them over to the Americas. By the way, they were Jews. Yes, that's the only people that I know definitely who were black Jews. But there is no other account of Africa, Ghana, for instance, Nigeria, or for instance, what's known as the Slave Coast today or in the ancient times, which was an area that was domiciled between Nigeria, Benin, Ghana, where the slave ships went and brought back slaves. Well, most of the people that were gathered from there were the sons and the daughters of Ham, not Shem.
Did you guys? Let me read that again. Let me repeat that again.
Nigeria, Benin, Ghana, where the slave ships went and brought back slaves. Well, most of the people that were gathered from there were the sons and the daughters of Ham, not Shem. So let's get this straight. Not all of the slaves came out of, that came out were Hebrews.
You hear that? Let's get that straight. And that's what I've been saying the entire time. You guys did not go into slavery like that. And he says the ones that did were Canaanites. And the scriptures say that in Judges 3:5 that we're going to be dealing with them so then we could learn how to war.
As I explained, some were, not all of them. So today, by my estimation, and you can disagree with it if you like, by my estimation, only 10% people that boarded those ships potentially were Hebrews.
Let's read that. It says only 50,000 people were of ancient Hebrew extraction brought to America of Negro looks. That's in my estimation would be around 2 million people in North America. Today, America has a potential of 45 million black people. They do not represent Israel, but mine is 2 million, which means 43 million people are not of all the Hebrew, but sons and daughters of Ham. However, they can choose to obey the God's law. Wow, man, that's heavy.
Everybody else, nothing to do with us. Totally Hamite went. People that boarded those ships potentially were Hebrews. Everybody else, nothing to do with us. Totally Hamites, 100% Hamites. But as I said earlier, your father, if you're a Ham, your father Ham, at one point did obey the Torah laws until Nimrod, the one who became rebellious, started, calling for his worship. He deified himself as some, ancient rulers do.
I gotta do that again, man, because I mean this is just fantastic. Honestly, all praises says I do agree with that. Let me see. India is the most idolatrous nation today, though, right? And 4 billion people in the landmass. Doesn't it fit the scattering? Yeah, I mean we've been scattered everywhere. So, like, remember what I'm suggesting is particularly well. First of all, this man was referenced by the Fopi people. Okay, so I'm like, wait a minute. That reminds me of this guy. Then I'm like, this guy didn't say anything that they were saying. So how come they don't put this video up? Okay, of course not, because it doesn't benefit them. There's no narrative. Now, we all scattered everywhere. What I'm trying to show with y'all is the connection between us and Abraham. Now, am I saying that we're India or Hindu? No. I'm not saying that at all. But there's a lot of similarities in regards to the traditions. Well, what I mean is also because of the Arshrit class that I did, it shows that we actually went through to get to Arshrit, we had to travel through that area. That's why you have Yucatan, because it's Joktan. So when you look at all of these things, like los voladores, this is the voladores, right? This is India with several synagogues. Look, this is in India. Ramuri. Look, this is in the temples that we had. That's like the Krishna or Shiva, whatever, the 6 arms. Now, come to find out, I read it somewhere and I can't find that link, that it was an interpretation of the menorah, the 7, the 3 arms, the 6 arms in the head. So it's a lot of similarities. Nahuas of Yucatan, los voladores. See? Look, that's us. And there's only 2 nations of people that do this. Now, you ask people in Mexico, they don't even know where that comes from. So that's what I'm saying. But we've been everywhere.
At that point,
and Israel is very idolatrous, bro. Like, why do you think we have like our mothers on their knees crawling all the way through from, like, I'm from Guadalajara. They go from let's say Colonia Miravalle all the way down to downtown San Diego. Los voladores de yeah, that's it, brother. That's it. And Mexico, yeah.
And see, I never knew this, man. I never knew. Wait a minute. Voladores in India that they used to have that. Oh, it's crazy stuff, man. So all I'm doing is doing a connection between who Abraham was, how he was in those regions, and we have a lot of similarities in those costumbres and names of that region. So you put the two and two together, and he says they look more like him. And if you look at us, there's a lot of people in Mexico that look Arab, a lot of people in Mexico that look like him, a lot of people that are look dark skin, light skin. We have it all. And all over the Americas, in Puerto Rico, in Aruba, in Mexico, in South America, in Peru, in Chile, Bolivia, Argentina, everywhere.
Can see that that is when it digressed, and God was so angry that he split their languages. We read about in Genesis chapter 11, the Tower of Babel, the Tower of Prevail. Well, go look up where it is. So, as I said, that you got to stop this chapter of ignorance, and you got to stop this cursing down, white people and calling them sons of Edomites, etc. They are not Edomites. Most of the white folks that you see in America and Europe, they are the sons of Japheth. What they got to do with Edom? Yes, if they had married into the ancient Edomites, then you could say, yes, some of them could be, but not all of them. So therefore, once again, you only demonstrate your ignorance of ancient history.
Damn. Hold on a second, sis.
And your arrogance of today by calling yourself what you're not and then putting other people down. That, by the way, is not permitted. What is permitted is that you can obey God, you can go to a rabbi.
Hey, this is why the scriptures say you should not abhor an Edomite. Why? Because it creates bitterness in your flesh. That's why. There's no other reason. Thou should not abhor an Edomite because it's not about him. It's about you. It's about you. Japheth lived in the tents of Shem as the scriptures. Yeah, it did say that, right? So now, do I agree 100%? I came from the One West doctrine, remember? I came out of these rooms. So in a way, I'm still, in a sense, indoctrinated by that whole Edomite, theology, right? Because that's really what it is. But now I'm starting to dissect it a little bit more. So I'm listening to both ends because I believe Meshikan had mentioned it, that he believes that it was Japheth, Ham, and Shem. Japheth or Japheth was white, Ham black, and then Shem the brown or red skin, right? Like that. I think that's what Meshikan had mentioned. So because there's a lot more things that are coming out now. Now that we're separating ourselves from these camps, like the white doctrine, indoctrination, we got to cleanse ourselves from those things. So all of a sudden now the eyes are starting to open up and I'm starting to see it more clearly. Lord willing, he allows me to go further into finding out who the true Edomites are. I have a feeling, but I'm not 100% there yet.
You come to myself, you go to another rabbi who can convert you into the Torah, and you can obey God. You can become part of Israel. That is allowed. But what is not allowed is your, foul mouth in New York City's square, Chicago, foul mouth on the streets. That is not permitted. That is very, very bad, and it reflects really badly on every black person in America. It makes a stereotype that all the black people are the same. That's
and in a way he's correct, but I don't care about that because they're not using the scriptures to what it truly should be. The scriptures is to dig ground, examine yourself if you're in the faith, so you don't be a reprobate. That's what your scriptures say: to be a man, to be a woman, to raise your children, to take care of your families, to be a community, to not rob, to not steal, to not kill. If we, us Latinos, can live like that, imagine that, brothers, because damn well we deal with cartel, gangs, and uncivilized, chaotic home. Because we all come from that. The natives and the so-called natives and the so-called Hispanics of the indigenous Americas, of the Americas, you guys, we suffer like that. And this is all we want. But yet they're out there in a corner yelling and screaming and saying the white man did it, 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 the white man did it. Yeah. You're right. Unless you was black. I've been having feelings also, but I'm a babe in this. It's all good, man. Don't even trip. Just stick around. It's the Most High is literally the walk is long. The walk is long. It's not short. It's not a race. You got to have a pace. You got to know exactly. Yeah, we come at humility. We come at the scriptures with humility. You know why? I'm gonna tell you why. Because if you're given the opportunity to have so much power, why would the Most High deal with you if you on the fleshly level you can't even be humble enough to be like, man, all honor and praise and glory because I don't deserve a kingdom as crappy as I was, bro. Seriously, it's like the prodigal son. Yo, listen, man, I am, Father, I'm really sorry. Can I just be the servant? Just a servant. That's the kind of contrite heart that you need to have. What do you mean all boastful? Like, yeah, F you, white man. You women need to get it together because we're the men. No, bro. If you're the leader, like a general, doesn't blame his troops. He takes responsibility. So it's our responsibility. Those are responsibilities. Yeah, Abuelita, bro. Yep. Let's see. I left IUIC idol worship of a black guy who looked like their bishop. Yeah. I was actually part of them, man. I was part of IUIC almost 4 years. I became a soldier. They were da-da-da. All I wanted to do was keep the commandments, man. That's why I had a lot of questions, but I'm like, I just want to keep the laws, bro. I don't want to start ruckus. I just want to keep the laws because I'm so destroyed. I just want to keep the laws. That was all I had in mind. I just wanted to keep the laws. Well, let me see. Says, what you got? Would you believe that through a sister, someone from NY and IUIC called me here at Aruba to become part of them? No. Yeah, they do that stuff. But you know what? Here's what happens. This is true. And you probably know this true if you actually were so quote unquote ranked. If you are a man of rank, you have to give alms. You have to give money. You cannot not go without it. Wanted knowledge, but left out of place. Yeah, bro. Listen, I'm going to be real with y'all. Look right here. Look. This right here, right? So I have I dealt with alcohol for a long time, right? So I'm considered like an alcoholic. And I'm not a practicing alcoholic, right? So I was sober 3 years when I went in. And I told them, hey, listen, I don't want to drink, da-da-da-da. Bro, they did almost everything where I could fall into drinking again. I became an alcoholic again. Literally, I dealt with alcohol until I literally left. When I left, about maybe 3-4 months in, the Most High was like starting to really like, hey, man, I'm going to kill you if you don't get it together. And then when I stopped drinking, the classes began. This was literally in June of this year. Again, I went in there thinking they're going to watch over me. I asked one of their leaders, listen, bro, I don't know. Okay, same Sabbath. Yeah. Well, we'll get into that. Check it. I remember going into them sincerely saying, I need some help, man. I need some help, bro. I'm dealing with alcohol and da-da-da-da-da. At the end of the day, you know what they said? Well, you got to fix it yourself. Oh, I drank the first Sabbath in the parking lot. Yeah. Well, listen, this walk, the Most High, look, the Most High put me through AA. I don't go to those rooms anymore, but he put me through AA in order to soften me up to this truth. Because if I would have found out about the truth when I was in that state of mind of alcoholism, bro, I would have never heard it ever, man. So it's a walk. It's the walk, brothers. It's the walk. Let's finish this video, and then we'll be done. I appreciate y'all staying in with me, man. Let's go.
It's a bad stereotype. So you need to stop these actions with all these different groups. I don't know, they have all these labels, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, United Church of Christ, and then there's others. There's so many of these groups that potentially are misleading the people, misteaching them, and generating hatred against the people they live with, which is, again, as I said, not a good thing. Should stay away from that. So therefore, as I explained, now what is a Jew today, 2017? Most of you have seen Jews today. You've seen the Ashkenazi in Europe. You have seen, go look up Brahma. So therefore, ancient people, Jews. But when you go towards the Middle East, you see a lot of Jews, my skin tone, not like me. Same like me, no different to me. In Yemen, no different to me. In dress code, wearing Middle Eastern type dresses. So therefore, that gives you a little bit brief history of our people. Therefore, as I explained, that Sarah, Abraham's wife, was called Sarai. And we have a history of somebody in India called Saraswati. So Saraswati, go look it up, who she was. Go look up Brahma. So therefore, ancient people, what they did, they took the name of their god upon themselves. That's why we got Abram instead of something else from Brahma. And this is why we have, for instance, we have our God, the God of Israel, as you know, Yud and He, Wa and He. So
I
we
think
have
that's enough. I think that's
Yeshayahu.
it. That's pretty much. I think we get
What
the
is that?
point. Like these guys. So let's go back and just kind of like reference what they're saying.
Ethiopia, Nigeria, then it is 99.9% likeliness that you're a Hebrew. You're a chosen person of the Most High.
A few moments later.
You guys do not deserve to be called Hebrews because, you know, I look more like a Hebrew than you. Anyhow, listen, family, I love y'all very much, man. I'm telling you, I stay sober, bro, by doing these classes. So don't think it's about me at all. It's about everybody because I know there's somebody out there that needs our help. Okay. So let me go ahead and play a song for y'all. Y'all heard it before,
Men
but
over
it's one of my
40 who
favorite
don't
songs.
fail in bed with a
Hold on
girl
a second
know
here real
that
quick. So anyhow, you guys, shalom fam. Tomorrow I'll do the class again, and I was gonna do one on Edom, but honestly, man, a lot of stuff's coming up. I think I'm gonna pause on that. I don't wanna misinterpret the scriptures and be completely wrong, going by my assumption because of my indoctrination on One West. I'm still almost done with everything that I learned from them. So anyhow, y'all take care. Unless you guys got something to say. Thank you, bro. No, thank you, man. Honestly, man, thank you. All praise to the Most High, bro. All praise to the Most High. Honestly, Tawada, yes, sir. All praise to the Most High, man. I don't even deserve to be on this position. Honestly, that's how I consider it. Because if it was up to me, man, for sure, I wouldn't even be here. Seriously, if it was up to my flesh, I'd be right there with that ball and chain that you see that bottle right there, bro. That's where my flesh belongs, and I want to keep it there. I don't want to be there. All right. So, fam, love y'all. Hey, sis, appreciate you. Send me that link, okay? And I'm glad that I didn't even know, I couldn't connect the dots, but now I do. So I'll be sending you links saying what's up, shalom, you and your husband. Hopefully he listens in as well. All right. All right. So here we go. Hold on a second here, real quick. Here we go.
Yeah, man, real bumbo clock and I set the volume 8. This is the music from the my niggas. Yeah, man. Oh, ribby damn, ribby damn. Hey, hey. La 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 la. You man a tribute for Black Uhuru Ray. Hey, hey, hey. Broken microphone, mystic global sound, a dream of soul. Will my head alone, living in Zion, but Babylon. Broken microphone, mystic global sound, a dream of soul. Will my head alone, living in Zion, but Babylon. Por soñar soñé que todo cambiaría, por pensar pensé, luchar a sangre fría sin perder la fe, viviendo el día a día, más con sentimiento que marcó mi sinfonía, darle pan al que no puede comer, darle bendición al que sepa renacer. 3000 errores solemos cometer, pero solo un gran hombre lo sabrá reconocer. Y me di cuenta hoy de tantas cosas, algunas crudas, otras bastante hermosas. Son los más sabios, personas poderosas, no aquellos bastardos que destrozan nuestras prosas. Es la perdición, mala situación de manchar tu corazón por tu mala acción. Dame una razón para darte mi perdón. Siento que tu alma se consume como el humo de este blon. Derramo poesía, arte mensajero que reclamo cada día. Pretendo ser sincero, más comparto mi alegría con todo caballero que mantenga la presión cuando andamos bajo cero. Sentimientos perdidos con calma, malos actos mancharon tu alma. No pide perdón quien dispara el arma, no sabe que un ladrón se bate con el karma. Broken microphone, mystic love sound, a dream of soul. Real my head alone, living in Zion, but Babylon. Broken microphone, mystic love sound, a dream of soul. Real my head alone, living in Zion, but Babylon. One I can get respect from volume 8. My niggas on volume 8, this is the understood.
Hey, by the way, brother, I know you're new, True 619. Check it. I always play songs at the end that kind of connect the message. I don't really agree with trying to get rap music with like the gospel. I don't agree with that. So what I do is I keep the genre where it is. So I find songs that relate to my topic. That's all. And it's in Spanish because again, I ain't trying to listen to none of these things regarding booty and drugs and all of that. So I'm like showing y'all, hey, all praises. Hebrews 12:11. No discipline is enjoyable while it's happening. It's painful, but afterwards there will be a peaceful harvest of right living for those who are trained in thy way. You know what you reminded me of? My favorite scriptures, man. It's in Sirach 6. If you guys can read it, Sirach 6 from 21 all the way through. It'll talk about the fetters, and regarding how they will be a glory to you once you go through the discipline of it, man. All praises to the Most High. All right. So let me just finish it, and then I'll turn it off soon.
Your respect. All right. Bad boy kills, criminal of zone or rich. Money is a gun for me. Respect the nation. Below the time like this, bad boy kills, criminal of zone or rich. Money is a gun for me. Respect the nation. Below the time like this, bad boy kills, criminal of town or rich. Money is a gun for me. Respect the nation. Oh. La 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 la. When I got just smoking from the studio up the on. And when I can get your nigga on the floor. When I live a sound. Oh them. Ah. Bye bye rhythm, bye bye sounding.